Hello, my name is Anastasia, and this is a video about what has been going on in my life. Um, a little bit over 3 months ago, my husband told me that he was transgender. I have some previous videos that I've been doing. I think my last one was about a month ago, and those videos were on how I had felt up until those points. So this video is pretty much going to pick up where my last one left off. Um, since my last video, I have been in to see a counselor. Um, and she's going to help me deal with like everyday stress and stuff, but she would not touch the subject of my husband being transgender. She said that she is not qualified. And honest to God, that's a better response than talking about stuff that she doesn't know about. So, although I am going to have like counseling on how to deal with just everyday life stress or whatever, there's not going to be anything about my relationship and how to adjust and things like that. However, in about 2 weeks, Rain, my husband, my spouse, and I have an appointment to meet with a counselor for relationship counseling. And this counselor specializes in transgender. So I'm very hopeful about that. I believe that it can't hurt, right? It can only help us learn how to adjust because things are very different. Men and women live lives differently, and my spouse spent so many years living as a boy that that's what I got used to, was living with someone who was trying to be a boy. Um, since Rain came out and said, "Hey, I'm here," there's been a lot of grooming. Like, she spends way more time getting ready in the day than I do. I wake up and I'm ready, and she grooms and grooms and grooms and has to look just right before she goes out. And what else is there? Um, she's a lot more opinionated about things where in the past she would have kept it to herself because she was like pretending to be a boy, right? So, and boys didn't have opinions about those things. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just like, I'm not talking about like bad opinions. I just mean things where she would have been quiet. She wouldn't have commented on because it may have seemed sexist or whatever coming from a man, but women say it perfectly fine. Like, still, she'll now vocalize that. So our conversations the topics have definitely changed. She's a lot more aware of what's going on in the world. And a lot has been going on in the world with transgenders. Most of it negative, especially like in the States. So she's never had to worry about being persecuted or anything like that for anything, because she was pretty, like a white male, right? Well, now she's a white trans woman. So there have been people look at her differently, and people look at me differently when they see us together. It doesn't really bother me at all. I thought it would. I really did. In the beginning, I thought, "Oh my God, people are gonna stare," but I just really could care less. um, Things have been going pretty good with our relationship. Amazingly enough, the things that we've always disagreed about, we still disagree about. That hasn't changed. The things that we've always agreed about, we still agree about. Um, so, like, Rain is still who she always was. She's just more honest and open about who she is now. For me, most of my issues have been realizing that I'm actually more selfish than I thought. Because Rain will be having a bad day, and she's had quite a few. There have been a lot of down days. In the last week or so, it's been really up days, but there was about a 2 week period where she was really down, and that was because she had to grow her facial hair out for laser hair removal, and we booked the appointment. It was paid for in advance, and so she had to let her hair grow out. So she wasn't happy with how she looked, which I can't blame her. I wouldn't be very happy having to grow a bunch of hair on my face either. So she went to the appointment, and the person said that Rain was too dark skinned for the laser we had chosen. I was a little bit disappointed because we had went in there in person prior and spoke to somebody, and they said there should be no problem. But whatever, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? No point in getting burns on your face if your skin tone's too dark. So so that made it even worse for Rain because she'd went through like a week and a half of growing out her facial hair, and then she found out it was for like no purpose. So then we found the appropriate laser that can be used on darker skin tones, and you get to be clean shaven for that one. Actually, you have to be clean shaven for that one. So that made things a little bit more bearable, and she didn't have to wait so long for that appointment either. Like the first one, we had to wait a long time, but this one, I think it was like half a week or something like that. So it might have been a whole week, but not near as long. And we knew it was going to work. So, and she got to shave, so she didn't have to let it grow out and make her feel so foreign in her own body. But when she was down, she was very down. And that brings me back to realizing I'm selfish. Because not all the time, but occasionally when she'd be down for like a long period of time, I would just want to go close myself off somewhere. Because of all the negativity, I could not be a positive force. I was now miserable as well. And when two miserable people are together, it tends to make life just that much harder. So instead of consoling her or helping her through her hard time, I would just want to go lick my own wounds, or however it's worded. And that's normal, but in my opinion, she was in a danger zone, and my first instinct should not have been, oh, let's leave her on her own. Yeah. So when I realized that what I was doing, right, like, because a couple times I just left her on her own, and then I was like, hey, if you love this person and you're with this person and this person's having a really hard time, it doesn't matter if it's the first day or the 7th day, you should suck it up and try and help them feel a bit better. And it took me a while to get to that point. I'm not going to say like, oh, yay. We had a lot of discord because I wasn't there for her. I was trying to make myself happy. So I'd be on the computer or watching TV and not like right away. It was just when I'd want to escape, and escape has always been something I've had issues with. That's my issue. It has nothing to do with Rain being transgender or anything like that. When I'm unhappy, I try and forget and move on. So, but when I actually came to the conclusion that, hey, don't you think you should be paying a bit more attention to what's going on in the world, like in your world, in your life, and things got a bit better because I stopped making it about me and started paying more attention to what Rain needed, and that was really all she wanted. She just wanted reassurance and comfort, and I think about all the times in the past where I've needed reassurance and comfort, and Rain has been there for me. But Rain, I'm not used to it being like that. Like, it should be like that. But before Rain made herself known on New Year's Day, I was dealing with Joseph, and Joseph was very closed off. Like, not completely closed off, but a lot more distance emotionally. He didn't appear to need reassurance, and like he seemed very secure with himself. Well, since he's admitted that he's a she and Rain has shown up, she's got all these insecurities, and which I have many myself. So I need to step back and reassure her and make her feel good and do things like that. I was sick for a while. I think in my last video I said I had the flu. Well, I was sick for a couple weeks, and all I did was sleep, and that's pretty much it. And in that time, Rain didn't have her support system, like her main support beam, which is me. And I think that's when things started getting like negative, because I don't think we had a real conversation that entire 16 days. Other than, oh, I feel sick, and oh, I hope you feel better soon. That was pretty much it. So all of Rain's doubts and insecurities she was dealing with on her own. And then by the time I wasn't sick anymore, I didn't it didn't even occur to me that she just spent 2 weeks with all her doubts and insecurities and nobody to reassure. So when she came to me looking for reassurance, I was just like, yeah, you look nice, or I like the way that looks on you, or like, yeah, I can see the changes. Like, I would just be like, yeah, like, what's okay, move on. And she needed the actual, this is why I say this. She needed the explanations and the descriptive words, and to offer that reassurance. So I've learned to expand my explanations when talking to her, because just the basic, yeah, that shirt looks nice, would have worked with Joseph, but with Rain, it's that shirt looks nice because it tucks in there and it enhances what's there, and like, she needs the actual proof. What else? I'm very happy with how Rain's like taking care of herself. Like, I mentioned the grooming briefly earlier. Joseph would wake up, throw on clothes, throw on a hat, and leave. Rain wakes up and does her hair and picks out her clothes with care, and puts on makeup, and picks, if she wears a hat, she picks the perfect hat. If she doesn't wear a hat, she doesn't. Her hats have even changed. She has hats that are not so masculine. Always before, when Joseph wore a hat, it was like just the cut and the style was very masculine, and now Rain's got all these hats that are very feminine, and she's very protective of them. I tried to put one on, and no, she's like, you got your own hat. It's a nice hat, though. So I like the way that she's taking care of herself. She's been exercising. For the last little bit, it hasn't been as steady. She was very steady for a while, but she lost some momentum. So tonight we're going to get her back on track. I went through a stage of depression, I guess is what it is. When I got better from the flu, and Ray needed that reassurance, and I was off licking my wounds, or like just closeting myself and escaping. I was very self-absorbed. I was unhappy. I was depressed. I had no one to talk to who would understand, or not even understand, but like be impartial. Because when you talk to people, they have an opinion. And whether it's right or it's wrong, it doesn't matter. If their opinion, I do not want someone else's opinion to influence anything I do. I want to make up my own mind, which is why I believe counseling is so important, because a good counselor will help you come to your own conclusions. They won't tell you what your conclusions should be. And I know that. So I didn't really want to talk to anybody. The only person I wanted to talk to was Rain, but I couldn't talk to Rain because Rain was down enough. And that's like kicking someone when they're down, right? Especially since one of the issues was Rain was always down. So I didn't have anyone to boost me up. But that's over. We got through that dip. Things are going very nicely now. So yeah, Rain had her laser hair removal, and the hair's still there. It was just a little bit ago. I think it falls out or something, but it's different. It's like there's still hair there, but it looks different, it feels different, and you can't really shave it, so, or pluck it or anything like that. You have to let it fall out on its own. So that's bugging her a bit, but nothing like that waiting for that first appointment. So she's staying pretty upbeat and positive. I've wanted to do a couple videos over the last month, and each time I sat down to do it, I decided not to, because I was in such a bad state, and I didn't think that anything that I could say would help anybody, including myself. It would be like dwelling on camera, and in my opinion, dwelling is pretty much the root of all depression, and I don't need to record that and watch it over and over and over again. I can do that all on my own in my head. I don't need physical proof. So that's why it's been so long since my last video, because a lot has happened, and I know I'm forgetting a lot, but I can see I'm already at 17 and a half minutes, so I don't want to jam it all in like a 30-minute video that nobody's going to sit through and watch. So I'm going to try and end it there. I may review it before. Sometimes I review them before I post them, and sometimes I don't. I might review this one because I know I said a lot. But I just really hope these videos help somebody, especially through the hard times, because they do get better. 3 weeks ago, life was miserable. Truly miserable for everybody involved in this transition, and a lot of it didn't have anything to do with the transition, because although you have the stress of dealing with that part, you still have the everyday stresses. You still have the work stresses and the family stresses and the money stresses and the car problems and all the stuff that happens to you in everyday life. But on top of that, you have this huge life-altering event that really does change your life. But when you hang in, because you love the person, and really that's the point of it, right? If you hang in there for the love, if you deem it's worth it, and in my opinion, love is always pretty much worth it, they get better. Things always got better. You just gotta hang on and try to help the storm pass instead of waiting for it to pass. Figure out what is keeping you stuck in that cycle and just try and break it. And eventually you'll succeed, and then the good times can come again, and then you can brace for the next storm, because there's always a next storm. So until I talk to you all next time, I hope you all have a wonderful time. Thank you.